it had a twist at the end. Like, I did not predict it. I did not predict it, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. You need to read this one. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Book Craze with Giselle. How are you going? What's up? What's the scene? Today I'm so excited to share some wonderful books for you with black characters. Some are interracial romance, others, both characters are African American. And you know, I love to read a good interracial romance. I enjoy reading books also written by black authors. So if this is something that you would be interested in watching, keep watching my video. If you like some BWWM, keep watching my videos. If you like books with sassy black women, watch my video. If you like books with taboo, forbidden romance, definitely keep watching this video. So in this video, I have 5 books that I really enjoyed. Most of these books are 4 to 5 stars. It was that good. These books are with interracial couples, and one is with a black American couple. So if you know you like reading books like that, then definitely give this video a thumbs up. First on my list, and this should not be a surprise to anyone who have watched my steamy forbidden romance video or my books written by black authors. If you have watched any of those videos, you know I love a really good interracial romance. I have mentioned Tia Sira on other videos that featured books written by black author or interracial romances or anything along those lines. I have mentioned her. Let me just say, she is a phenomenal writer. I love her stories. Her books are flawless. I'm not exaggerating. Read it for yourself and then come back and tell me in the comment section down below if I was wrong. I don't think so, but if I am wrong, then I stand corrected, and still let me know down below in the comment section. So this book that I'm talking about, written by Tia Sira, is called Secrets and Lies. And let me just say, when I tell you this book is taboo and forbidden, I kid you not. Like, you need to read it if you like those type of stories like me. I totally was not prepared for it. This is not your conventional interracial romance. Here the title, Secrets and Lies, and this is exactly what unfolded when I read this book. So initially, Aria grew up with her grandmother. Her grandmother passed away and she had no choice but to go live with her mother. Aria is a product of a rape, and because of that, her mother does not connect with her. Her mother has basically wanted nothing to do with her, and let me just tell you, her mother is on my list of characters that I just do not like. Is that because she's just a bad person? I don't like her attitude, and I felt as though she just should not have treated Aria the way that she did. But back to the story and not my emotional tantrum. So Aria has this type of inappropriate relationship with her stepdad, and that is where you have the taboo aspect of this book. Yeah, she and her stepdad did the dirty and stuff like that, but it was, you know, it's something that happened gradually in terms of her wanting attention, her needing someone to speak with, and her stepdad was that person. One thing led to another, and yes, she did the dirty with her stepdad. Her mom realized that something is going on, and when she was asked about it, her mom was like, you know what, as soon as you finish high school, I need you out of this house. So she was basically on her own. She did get pregnant for her stepdad. Damn! So all that happened in like the first half, the first couple chapters in this book. That is how the story started. Like, it starts off with a bang. Like, you don't need to wait for anything to build up. It is already builded for you in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. And as this story unfolds, you see where after a couple of years, she is going back in the same city where her mom lives. She totally ended everything with her stepdad, and she developed a relationship with her step brother Luca. So the story is centered on Arya and Luca and not on her stepdad. Okay, so the forbidden aspect is that she is with her stepbrother. She's moving in with him. The parents don't know that anything is going on with them, and before that they can actually become intimate, Arya is like, you know what, I don't think we should do this right now, let's give ourselves a little time, and she decides to put him back into the friend zone. She never saw him really as a stepbrother. They did not grow up together, anything like that. They don't have the same mom or anything like that. Totally non-biological, blood related step siblings. Like, I felt as though I needed to say that just to clear the air.
Nice.
So Arya doesn't meet anyone in this book. However, Luca, he has his friends with benefit, and he tried ending things with her because he realized that he had like really strong feelings for Arya. When his friends with benefit realized that she's been left out because they have had this relationship going on for many years, she just assumed eventually he would stop his, you know, promiscuous, womanizing behavior, settle down with her. But when she realizes that Luca is really interested in Arya and wants to have a relationship with Arya, she becomes upset. They're at this party and she just blows their cover. She's like, oh, you had sex with your stepdad and now you're behind my man, you want to have sex with your stepbrother and all these kinds of things. Listen, and her stepdad was no help. Like, he and himself tried to stay away from Arya, not wanting to put up with anything. Her mother attitude like that. And it's a surprise that they did not get a divorce. Her stepdad did divorce his first wife. Separate drama there. And then as soon as Luca and Arya decide to embark on a relationship, they are thrown with this news that his friends with benefits, her name is Lizzie, is pregnant. So they are thrown with this curveball as soon as they decided, you know what, I want to be with you. As soon as they started going out in public, as soon as they decide they really want to take things to the next level, Lizzie threw this news at them. She's pregnant. And Arya, knowing that the way that she grew up, she is very supportive of Luca and very supportive of Lizzie. Like, you know, she's not coming in with, you know, this is my man, you can have nothing to do with him. She is not like that at all, and Lizzie is still not having it. However, there's some bad news. Lizzie unfortunately dies, and no one knows the paternity of the child. So it could be Luca's child, it could be Luca's personal assistant, like no one knows. And like during this time, like Luca and Arya like goes through a lot. Let me just say, this book, I was so engrossed in this book. Like, I was not prepared for the emotional drama. I was not prepared for how taboo and forbidden the story was. Initially I was like, what the hell am I reading? Like, that was like the first couple of chapters, like the first chapter where it had, you know, things going on with her stepdad. I was like, oh, am I reading this? Giselle, are you gonna finish read this? Like, what is going on here? And I continued reading, and then things was like, okay, because things really started with her stepdad before she was even 17. So I'm just saying, if you like those taboo, forbidden, you know, stories, definitely read this one, written by Tia Sierra, especially if you like an interracial romance. Arya is African American and Luca is white. Her stepdad is white. Her mom is African American. So it's a really nice mix of, you know, interracial, you know, niceness, as well as Lizzie. Lizzie is, you know, a nice chocolate kind of girl. So if you like that, definitely check out this book. Another book that I really enjoyed, this one is not so forbidden, but it is a paranormal romance, and it is written by J.J. McAvoy. It is My Midnight Moonlight Valentine. I absolutely love this book. This one is a slow burn. It is told from dual perspective. It is book 1 in her vampire series, so definitely check that out. I have read book 1. I have to read book 2. Like, I don't know what I'm waiting on to read book 2. Like, I just keep, getting bombarded with more books and more books, and you know how it goes. So this story begins with Druella. Druella is like a recently changed vampire. She was a witch and she doesn't realize that she still has her witch's powers. But anyhow, we jump in the gun. She goes out to do her nightly run to feed. She doesn't feed on humans, she feeds on animals, and she sees Theseus. And Theseus is trying to fight off other witches because they came out to kill him. However, he does not remember, one, how he got there, and he has no memories. Like, there's this big gap in his memories. And because Druella has never met another vampire where she lives, she has not met another vampire, period, she decides, you know what, I will help you to find out what happened to your memories and whatnot, and they embark on this adventure. So when Druella thought that she only knew one vampire, it turns out that she knew 2, and also that her cousins and her close friends, they were like vampire slayers, and they came out and tried to kill her, and she discovers that she has powers. But in this journey, they realize that not only is Theseus missing his memories and can't recall what happened, but also that Druella, her picture perfect life is not as it seems. Like, her memories has been tampered with her being able to use the amount of magic that she's able to use as a vampire is unheard of. Because as a vampire, yes, you may retain 1 or 2 of your witch power, but she shouldn't be as powerful as she is. There in this book, there are certain scenes where she's able to heal wounds that should leave someone dead, and she's able to just do certain things that she should not be able to do. When he like meets his family, everyone is like, Theseus' mom particularly, she's upset. She don't like Druella. They do like this kind of spell to discover like what happened to her and who is responsible, and the book ends with a cliffhanger. Honestly, I believe it's Druella. I think like she did something and it just went wrong. Like, she cast some type of spell and it backfired. Like, this book, it is very, again, with Theseus and Druella, there are like some really steamy moments. Like, they have a really good chemistry dynamic. They are really attracted to each other. But every time they go to take, another step, something happens. So in book 1, it is a slow burn. They don't actually do the nasty in book 1. So I'm hoping the kind of build up that it had in book 1, I hope I get it in book 2. I hope I get it in book 2, because this book, things are so intense between Druella and Theseus. And not only that, because of this whole her being magical, like, there are already like written rules and stuff like that to separate the witches from the vampires, and Druella is creating this big upset in this paranormal world. She's creating this big upset between the witches and the vampires. So I think a war is brewing. Listen, I'm so excited to read this book. Like, you definitely need to read it. I've never read a vampire book like this. It had me very intrigued. It was captivating. It was compelling. And I could not put down the book. It was just really good story development and storytelling. And the characters were phenomenal. Loved them. There was nothing wrong with Druella. There was nothing wrong with Theseus. It was just like, it was magic. It was magic. And yeah. Next up, so I read this young adult romance written by Ruthie Robinson, and it is called Raised Goals. This, the cover isn't like all that great. It looks like it's going to be like a really simple book, but it isn't. It was quite enjoyable. It was quite a page turner. in this book, you meet Ray and Steven. They meet on a flight heading back to Austin, Texas. Ray is going back from she's going back to university, and it so happens that Steven goes to the same university. However, at that time, they did not realize that. Steven is white, he's from a very wealthy family, and Ray, she is from a predominantly, obviously, black family, not very well off, but her parents have instilled like really good values and morals and ethics with her. Within the story, while they're in the airport and on the plane, they develop a really great rapport with each other, and Ray gives him her number and she hopes that he would call, and he never calls. So when she's on campus and she sees him, she's like, oh, you go to this university. Oh, I didn't realize you were into football. She's into football, so he plays for the male team, she plays for the female team, and they develop a really good friendship. They start to go out together, everything is going well. But Steven, he is very apprehensive about telling his family and friends about Ray. And like, he has Ray as this, you know, hidden secret. Like, Ray, you know, introduced him to her family, her friends and everything else, and he didn't do it. And she's like, you know what, I don't want to be your secrets. She was like very upset about that. She's like, I'm not doing it. And listen, a story like this is what you expect with an interracial story, especially with sometimes in an interracial romance, the couple, like, they go through so much. You always have one having an issue with race, and you get that in this book. But it was so nice and refreshing to know that Ray, being so young, that she wasn't apprehensive about it, as well as her family members, they were very opening and welcome. It was mainly on Steven's side, and Steven had to make the choice. This book, heartbreak, entertainment, funny, sassy. Like, Ray had it all. She was really well off. She was really put together nicely, and I absolutely love Ray. Like, she stood her ground and she was not settling for less. And with Steven, is that you take it or you leave it. She wasn't sticking around for him to decide. She moved on with life, did what she had to do. Can't tell you everything about this book, but let me tell you, if you're looking for like a really nice, light, interracial romance book, definitely read this one. This one is not steamy at all. There are like really nice, good chemistry moments, but it's not like your steamy, full-on adult romance. It is not. Next up, this one is not an interracial romance. Both of the main characters are African American. It is written by Alexandra Warren, and it is called Wins and Losses. This book, honestly, I didn't know what to expect when I read this book, but I was pleasantly surprised. It caught me off guard. It did play with me emotionally. The characters were really good. It had a twist at the end. Like, I did not predict it. I did not predict it, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. You need to read this one. So in this book, you meet Kaz and Carmen. Carmen just lost her dad to a senseless murder. She has her brother who is like living with her dad, and because of that, she moves back home to try to support her brother. Her brother is in high school, and Naz is the basketball coach for the high school. He realizes that things are not going well with Carmen's brother, and he decides, you know what, he needs to step in and support the students. Carmen and Naz, they had history because they both played basketball. She's very much into sports. He's the coach. They like always would like battle and stuff like that with each other to find out who was the best. And with that, they had like this really good relationship. And because of the death of Carmen's father, they come back close. They develop a relationship. There's a little bit of cheating on Carmen's side, but it is not that major to like turn you off if you don't like books with cheating in it. But yeah, Carmen's boyfriend, now I can stand. Instead of him supporting his girlfriend through this death and the loss of her dad, He's like all about him. He's very selfish. He's very uncaring. And I'm not going to tell you the rest about him. Because, see this man? Everybody gets what is coming to them. That's all I have to say about Carmen's boyfriend. Eventually they do break up and she gives like Nas a chance. Things get steamy, and you know, they being together just really benefited her younger brother, having that stability, having like a male role model still, you know, still having like a good friendship or relationship with his sister. Like, I've never read a book like this. It was very heartwarming, it was very compelling. Like, I love the characters, I love that unexpected twist at the end. I love that you really saw the importance of friendship and having stability in young people's lives. Like, that was so awesome to read about. And seeing Nas and Carmen take their competition from the courts to the bedroom, like, that was really nice. Yeah, that was really nice to read. Really enjoy this book. If this is something that you're looking for, definitely check out this. Like, I give this book 4 stars. It was really good. Like, I had no issues with the books. Storyline was good, development was good, characters was good. Carmen is very like outgoing, she's independent, she's very strong, and she doesn't take nonsense. She doesn't, and I like that about her. And for someone to support a teenage boy, you needed to have that type of mindset. She's witty, she has attitude, and has comebacks like that. Love characters like that. And Nas is more like laid back, supportive. He's not too much in your face, but he's there when you need him. And I really like that. He's excellent like book boyfriend if you're looking for a new one. Next up, another interracial one. This is called Pluck in the Pearl, and it is written by Afton Locke. It is book 1 in the Oyster Harbor series. Now, this story takes place in the 1930s. I was not expecting that, to be honest, so it was a really surprise. I was really surprised to see this. In this book, you really get to see like the racial tension between the whites and the black. You rarely see that divide clearly depicted in this book, and to have a relationship at this point in time in history in Maryland where you have the Klan existing, like that's crazy. But it made this book really nice. So in this book you have Pearl and Caleb. Pearl, she recently lost her mother. She doesn't have any family, so she decides to move to Oyster Harbor to stay with the only family that she knows, her aunt, her uncle, and her cousin. They all work like really hard. They have tough jobs. They have bone-breaking jobs. They leave from the crack of dawn and they return after the sun sets. They work really long hours in an oyster company. They work for Caleb. He owns the oyster company, and Pearl goes there to, you know, just to try out her hand, because she grew up more in a town setting, more sophisticated settings. Like, she has an issue or difficulties, you know, opening the oyster and doing whatever they do with the oyster. She has a difficult time doing that. And so what Caleb decides to do is give her other jobs to do around the building. He is like immediately attracted to her, she's attracted to him, but this is the 1930s and the Klan is up and alive. She is hesitant about doing it. However, they embark on this secret relationship. They can't let anyone know that they're doing this, and the Klan is present and they want Caleb to join. However, he don't believe in what they do. He don't agree with their beliefs, and he's very hesitant. And when Pearl discovers that he's going to be a part of the Klan and that he's going to marry some white woman, she realizes that it doesn't even make sense to be with him anymore. It doesn't even make sense to try to make the relationship work, because it's just not going to happen. He, at one point in time, he put her in his house to live so that they can still be together without having to meet at the workplace. But it still isn't enough, and eventually Pearl decides to leave. This story, it is so heartbreaking. Like, you would think that Pearl is dumb, but she is smart, and she realizes, you know, earlier on what she's doing, she understands the consequences of it, and she realizes that, you know what, when to flee. You have to know when to stay and when to flee, and that is clearly depicted. Like Caleb, I felt that Caleb could have been a bit stronger, like be more understanding the position that he was putting Pearl in. Like honestly, this book, guys, the sun is setting. Honestly, this book, it is really a really good interracial romance. If you're looking for something that is, you know, in the 1930s, that is not really modern day, because you get to see things like that you don't read about in contemporary romances, like present day romances, like having to take the boat and, you know, living in the swampy areas because that's where the black persons live. Like you really get to see a part of history, and I love that. It really gets you to see how things were in that time, and I appreciate that in this interracial romance, this BWWM. I really like that. This brings me to the end of my video. If you want more interracial books, just you know, again, hit me down below. Let me know, Giselle or Book Craves, like I want more interracial videos. Do you have any more suggestions? Yeah, make sure to follow me on my social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as Goodreads as Book Craves, so you can find me anywhere. Just, you know, search my name and you will find me. So thank you for watching my video. I really hope that you enjoyed this one, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not. Like this video if you have not by now. Make sure and hit that notification bell so you would know when I post a video. How will you know? How will you know? Goodbye for now, and see you in my next video.